Can adding your kids to your business as part owner help you save on taxes? And how exactly does that work? That's what we're going to be talking about here today. This strategy might sound intriguing, but we're going to talk about the pros and cons of adding your child as an owner in your business. Hi everyone, I'm Jamie Trull, CPA and Profit Strategist, and on this channel I give you all the tools to help you stay informed, organized, and profitable in your business finances, so make sure to like and subscribe. Definitely stay until the end of the video too, because I'm going to give you some additional ideas for saving on taxes for this year. So let's jump into it. Does adding your kid as part owner help you save on taxes? You might be thinking, well, wait a second. If they're a part owner in the business, and that means that they're making a percentage of the profits and it's getting passed on to them instead of, say, to you, won't they be taxed at a lower rate because they're a kid, right? They probably don't have a whole heck of a lot of other income. So you might think that any income that you are passing down to your child as an owner of the business is going to be taxed at a lower rate than you are taxed at. Now, if we happen to be in pre-1986, I would say, heck yeah, go ahead and do it, because at that point in time, it absolutely did. And this was actually something that wealthy families did a lot. Either they would make their kids part owners in their business, or they would pass down investments to them so that they wouldn't have to take their higher capital gains taxes on those investments. But not so surprisingly, the IRS came in and said, wait a minute here, this is not exactly what we had in mind. And the Tax Reform Act was passed in 1986 that included something now called the Kiddie tax. So the Kiddie tax was essentially created to close this loophole and prevent wealthy families from being able to pass large sums of money down to their children just for the purpose of saving on taxes. So what the Kiddie tax essentially did is say that for any unearned income, and that's important, I'm going to come back to that in a minute, but any unearned income, which includes profit as an owner in a business, that you could pass down $2,500, and that first $2,500 will be taxed at the child's lower rate, which, if that's their only income, is probably zero because that's under the standard deduction. However, any unearned income above $2,500 will be taxed at the parent's rate. So even if you are passing down $20,000 to your kid, you're only going to get $2,500 that will be taxed at the kid's lower rate. So obviously this dramatically reduces the tax benefits of putting your kids on your business as an owner, or of giving your kids investments, let's say, passing investments down to them. Now, that doesn't mean that there aren't other reasons to do this. Perhaps if you are trying to set up generational wealth and a legacy, maybe you expect your kid to take over the business at some point in time, there can be legal reasons that you might want to make your kid an owner. However, it's not really a tax benefit. So who does the Kiddie tax apply to? Is it all kids at any age? Not necessarily. So if they're under 18, the Kiddie tax always applies. If they are exactly 18 and you're still primarily supporting them, meaning that they aren't making enough earned income to support at least 50% or more of their expenses, then this Kiddie tax applies as well. And if your kids are full-time students between the age of 19 and 23, and you're still providing more than half of the support for them to live, they aren't having earned income and their own job to pay for that, then this Kiddie tax would apply as well. So basically, if your kid is under 24 and not really providing support for themselves, then this likely is going to apply. That said, if your kids are older than that and they are in a lower tax bracket than you, you might still benefit from making your kids part owners on your business, but there may not be a reason to do that before they're in their mid-20s. Now, if you feel like I just bursted your bubble, hang on, because I did promise you that I would tell you how you could save on taxes, and your kids are a part of this. There is a better way. If you've watched this channel at all, you know that I have quite a bit of content that I've created around hiring your kids in your business. And I talk a lot about the federal labor law exemptions that allow you to hire your kid at any age as long as they're not doing something that is dangerous or inappropriate for them. You can hire them to work in your business and make earned income. Remember how I said with the Kiddie tax, that applied to unearned income, this is different. When they are making earned income by being an employee in the business, then you can get that benefit of shifting income from a higher tax bracket to a lower tax bracket. Now, you might be saying, well, wait a second, won't they then have to pay payroll taxes and all the things? And the answer to that is not if you set it up correctly. There are also exemptions for minors under the age of 18 from things like Social Security and Medicare, and there are exemptions from unemployment taxes if they're under 21. And the other great thing about employing your kids is that rather than just handing them a whole bunch of money, they're actually working for the money that they are making. You're going to need to document it. They're actually going to need to do real work in your business. There are tons of different ideas of things that they can do. I have other videos that talk about some of my favorite ideas for what kids can do in your business at any age. Plus, this also can help you set up generational wealth because you're also going to be able to open up a Roth IRA for them. And that's something that you can typically only do if your kids have earned income. So that means that they're going to be able to start having compound interest. And if you're a fan of investing, you know that the key is time. So the earlier they start, if you're putting money into a Roth IRA at a really early age and just investing it in the broad market, you can turn $50,000 into millions of dollars. Now, if you want to see more of that, I have a video all about that too, going into the numbers for my numbers people, but it really is possible and it is a great way to create generational wealth and stability and security for your children while giving them really valuable work experience and being able to teach them about money. So if any of that sounds intriguing and you want to know more, there is one place I recommend that you go, and that is our Kids on Payroll Masterclass. You can go there by going to jamietrull.com/masterclass, but this is what will give you all the information that you need about hiring your kids, including some of the specifics around the type of entity you are and how that impacts how you need to hire them to get the best tax benefits. And just in case you want to see a quick preview of what I walk through in the masterclass, here's an example of the tax savings that you can have by hiring your kids in your business. So in the first column, this is what happens when you don't employ your child. We're using $14,600 because that is the current standard deduction for 2024. And so that means that the first $14,600 in earned income that your child makes will be taxed at 0%. Okay, so if you want them to have zero income tax, then you will pay them $14,600 or less. Now, anything that you pay them above that amount will still be taxed, but probably still at a lower rate than what you're taxed at. But let's say you pay them that full $14,600. Let's say you set it up properly such that they are exempt from Social Security and Medicare. I walk through that more in the masterclass. Then in theory, you're going to be saving roughly $6,000 in this example by hiring your kid. Oh, and did I mention, the money you pay your kid can be used to pay for things like childcare or even private school or sports fees for your kids, right? So you can decide how much of that money gets used for paying things you were already going to pay for anyway, how much they can use for their own spending money, and even how much you want to put in a Roth IRA on their behalf. So whether you're paying your kids for modeling and acting, for social media, or maybe doing administrative or organizational tasks, this can not only help them learn valuable skills for life, but also save money on taxes. Now, if you're still stuck on trying to figure out what your kids can do in your business, definitely check out this video next, which is going to go into some of my favorite ideas for jobs your kids can do in your business at any age. And if you're wanting to go deeper into understanding how to actually do this in your business and do it the right way, definitely check out our Kids on Payroll Masterclass, jamietrull.com/masterclass.